I love you. I punched him. I love you. I punched him again. Blood was pouring down his face. Baby, I love you. I wasn't about to stop punching him anytime soon. I wished he would stop saying that. I wished he would stop talking forever. I love you hit me again. I punched his face again. He was just standing there in his socks and boxer briefs. He had an incredible body. The skin on my knuckles was split and was starting to ooze blood slightly. My blood and his blood were mixing on the back of my hand. I saw this and it made me ill. I punched him again. I love you. What was wrong with this man? He was depraved, a pervert. He wanted to be hated and dominated. Women felt like this all the time. I have felt like this most of my life. I related to him. I wanted to be him. Every time I hit him, I wished it was me, and something dead surged up inside me, tingling through my arms and balled up fists. I spit on his face and he smiled. He is not a pervert, no more than everyone else. He just likes to be punched in the face. I punched him again. Blood squirted out of his eye. His face was beginning to look a little less human. Again and again and again. You're beautiful, I love you. My hand stopped hurting. It was numb. I drank some water. We lay down. I closed my eyes and tried to fall asleep. My hand started to throb again. I could hear him gurgle every time he breathed. There was a high-pitched hiss coming from his nose. When he blinked, it sounded like someone stirring oatmeal. I became quite nauseated. I leapt onto him. I punched him again. He had lost teeth. I didn't notice that earlier. He tried to say I love you, but I couldn't understand him. I was more and more revolted by him. He was a completely benign person. He just lied there, begging to be hit. I slapped him. He moaned. I became tired again. I rolled off of him and went into the kitchen. I opened the fridge. There were mostly condiments. There was a ham on rice sandwich behind the sour milk that looked to be over a month old. I opened the plastic wrap and inspected the sandwich. It had lettuce and mustard and mayo. It was the most standard sandwich I have ever come across. I sat at the kitchen table and ate the sandwich.
I had this friend named Irene Hernandez, whose dad used to beat her up. She came to the youth group for a while and I guess caused a little bit of trouble for smoking weed, so the youth leader, Brent, didn't really like her. For a while he was meeting with her father, trying to sort things out between Irene and her dad, and at one point he came out saying that he thought Irene was making it all up, and that he didn't think her dad was beating her up at all. But I was friends with Irene, and I remember this one time we went down to see a baseball game, and she brought her little brother. We had a really good time, but all throughout the day, at various times, Irene would turn to her brother and say, "Remember, JJ, we never came here. Daddy can't know about this. If one day next month or something he takes you on the train and says, 'Hey, it's your first train ride,' you can't say, 'No, Irene took me to see baseball.' You have to remember, okay, JJ?" He would nod and say okay, but of course he let it slip one time a few weeks later, and Irene ended up with a black eye for a while. I was on my way to the job site this morning, and I passed this one street you turn down to get to the mall. And every time I go by there, I remember the time years and years ago when I was driving down that road, and right at that intersection I thought I saw Irene Hernandez's mom walking up the hill with her work clothes on in high heels and all. I thought about stopping and asking if she needed a ride, but I wasn't sure it was her, and there was all this traffic backed up, so I just kept going. Later I asked Irene about it, and she said it was her mom, and she had been having a horrible day, and her car had broken down, and she had to walk a few miles home in her high heels. I still feel really bad about it. Sometimes I like to try and picture it in my head the way it should have gone.